What's the best "you've fallen right into my trap" story you've got? Part 2. I started my party off in a tavern where all the staff and patrons were monsters hidden by illusion spells. The cocky ranger immediately tried to intimidate the blind man playing the piano. He didn't know that he was actually trying to intimidate Blind Bertram, the blues beholder. 10 seconds later, the rogue walked straight into the gelatinous cube behind the bar. A magitech company gave away sending stones in a city. The players grabbed them and used them to constantly talk to each other, NPCs, and basically treated them like cell phones. The arch-faced CEO of the company used Scryware trademark to watch everything, gather info on them, and eventually took their names. Now no one knows who they are or will talk to them. I even gave the party a terms and conditions document from the Sending Stone company that they didn't read, complete with sections outlining the Scryware trademark and, of course, use of likeness clauses. The party was sneaking into a mad necromancer's secret laboratory. The entrance was a heavy wooden door sealed around the edges with rubber, with a glass window set in it. Through the window, they saw a short, dark corridor leading to another sealed door with light beyond it. There were hooks next to the door holding lanterns, tinderboxes, and fuel. The party, all having dark vision, left the lanterns behind. They later discovered that the lanterns weren't for seeing, they were there to ward off the ravenous shadows sealed in the corridor as a security measure. The party was hired by a trading group to deal with the evil coming out of a forest. Pretty standard stuff. They arrive and quickly see things escalating. Multiple armed groups, signs that this has happened before, and evidence that the evil in the forest wasn't actually evil. It turns out the party was hired by vampires who start fights every so often just because they like the chaos and distraction. Are we the baddies? My group thrives on inter-party drama. In our Pathfinder campaign around level 3, my wizard and the rogue got pulled into the plane of shadow because, well, apparently the rogue's backstory included a mirror shard that does that. When the rogue was about to die in an encounter, he touched the mirror shard and vanished. He had never explained this to us, so my wizard thought we should secure the shard. When he touched it, he vanished too. Turns out the rogue's brother had been sucked into the plane of shadow ages ago and was now building an army venerating the god of pain and madness. The rogue said, "Cool, nice to see you, bro," and refused to believe his brother might be, evil. Getting back required the rest of the party to consult my wizard's thesis advisor at the university, which caused so much embarrassment. When my wizard finally returned, his advisor saddled him with an annoying little devil to keep an eye on him. Later, the rogue actually died. To keep him involved while we worked on resurrection, the GM had his soul get sucked into one of the oracle's skulls so we could talk to him. Then came the question. Should we even resurrect him, given his complete denial about his evil brother? So my wizard hatched a plan. He had 2 problems, an annoying little devil and a dead teammate with questionable loyalty. He asked the devil to drop a contract saying that if the rogue ever betrayed the party in word or deed through action or inaction, his soul would be forfeit to the 9 hells. The rogue had to sign it to get resurrected. Of course, signing the contract also revealed the devil's true name, which my wizard immediately used to tell the little pest to buzz off. 2 problems, 1 elegant solution. Even the rogue was impressed, so am I. Once I fell into my own trap. My players were in the Feywild and a small Fey asked them, "Can I have your name?" They gave it freely and didn't notice until the creature was already gone. That led to a 7-hour session where they had to quest to recover their names. After the game, one player told me it was the best session he had ever had and asked what would have happened if they hadn't fallen for the trap. I told him, "Brother, I didn't think you guys would actually fall for that. None of what happened today was planned." It wasn't even supposed to be a trap. I just set up a casino for them to rob, with tough security but hidden weaknesses. They had tons of time to plan. I expected them to case the joint and come up with a heist strategy. Instead, they ran straight for the vault, triggering every alarm and alerting the head of security. Then they ran straight into a golem they had no business fighting, which they would have known if they'd asked literally any questions. I just shrugged, beat them, and threw them in the holding cells. I was cackling. The party tracked down the MMEG, or Middle Management Evil Gal, to her lair. She's a high intelligence wizard, so of course she had an escape plan, and saved a spell slot to make it happen. Lightning Bolt. The escape route was a long, narrow hallway with a rolling boulder trap, pit traps she knew how to jump, and a portcullis at the end she could drop with a lever. Did I mention it was a long, narrow hallway? All the PCs lined up in a row. She cast Lightning Bolt just before hitting the lever, and everyone got hit. It was nearly a TPK, but the cleric fell into a pit, taking less damage and surviving just so they could heal everyone. MMEG escaped, and the party never lined up again for the rest of the campaign, which saved them later when they faced a black dragon on a narrow sandbar. I set up an extremely obvious trap. Warned the players multiple times not to do the thing. Warned them especially not to let the one who was becoming a celestial do the thing. They got there, and somehow, in full villain NPC style, I convinced that exact player to do the thing as part of a hazing ritual. Oh, that was good times. This one was as a player, and honestly, it was great. We were playing a pretty chaotic group, and my character was selfish, but fun. The others weren't good at investigating, so I split from the party to find answers myself. I did, but to get them and a magic item, some demons asked me to kill 2 NPCs. Well, knowing my group wouldn't let me, I faked a vision saying 2 people needed to die to open a portal. Another player guessed, "Oh, a little one and a big one. It must be those guards." And I said, "Huh, I didn't think of that, but you might be right." They killed both guards thinking they were completing the quest when really it was just so I could get my shiny new item. The DM later told me he didn't realize I was lying until others actually killed the NPCs. He just sighed and said he's given up trying to stop me. In our Pathfinder Skull and Shackles campaign, nice, where the party are a bunch of pirates, yarr. My character was a cleric of Besmera, goddess of piracy and captain of our crew. We rolled up on another ship, defeated them, and hauled the survivors up onto our deck. I gave a rousing speech about how we were offering them a choice. Join our crew and live. One of the captives panicked, bolted to the edge, and tried to swim away, despite having his hands tied and no land in sight. I stopped my speech, took my opportunity attack, killed him in the water, had the body hauled back on deck, animated his corpse, and said, "Welcome to the crew." Then I turned back to the rest and said, "As I was saying, you can join our crew, live, and share in our plunder. Or you can die, still join our crew, and not share in the plunder at all. The decision is entirely yours." The rest joined without further incident. From then on, I made it a running bit. Whenever we captured people, I'd cast Skeleton Crew, which turns corpses into non-combatant skeleton sailors, and give them the same offer. Join us alive or join us dead. My players were exploring a mostly intact shipwreck and fought a flame skull along the way. They beat it and were so annoyed by how it fought that the paladin smashed the remains repeatedly just to be sure. Unfortunately, stab it a bunch doesn't count as holy water, detect magic, or remove curse. So I carefully tracked in-game time as they explored the wreck, including all the rituals the warlock cast. Sure enough, when the Flame Skull's regeneration timer ran out, they were deep in the ship, and it still had a second-level spell slot left. While the warlock was mid-identify, a flaming sphere suddenly appeared at the end of the hallway. The players panicked, grabbed whatever loot they could, and literally smashed through the walls to escape as the burning ship collapsed around them. I was playing an illusionist during a PvP session. I secretly texted the DM that I was casting Mislead, leaving my real body standing still while my double moved in my place. The 2 players fighting me charged straight at my illusion to attack, only for their blows to pass harmlessly through it. Then came the flash of light. The lightning bolt I'd been charging cleared up their confusion immediately. I gave my players powerful magic items that weakened the main villain's hold with every use. When they identified the items, I even described this in detail, but they thought it was just flavor text. So they used the items over and over until they accidentally released the villain early, causing the deaths of countless innocents and a couple of their backup characters. The first big bad of the campaign decided to hole up in a tower. I happened to have a silver horn of Valhalla, lucky roll getting that one. We killed the door guard, and I blew the horn. 7 spirit berserkers appeared, got the description of the target, and were given one mission. Kill him as hard as they can, baby. They stormed the tower. By the time we got up there, his cohort was retreating out the window on a flying broom, and the boss himself was basically being stomped like that scene in JoJo's. Oh, he died very quickly. My best friend is my DM. He lives in fear of my horn now. I haven't used it again. That 1 week cooldown hurts, and I haven't had a reason to call my old sailing crew to come curb stomp anyone else yet. Hey everyone, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and of course let us know in the comments below what's the best "you've fallen right into my trap" story that you've got. And of course, if you want to support the channel at all and keep us making videos for all of you boys, girls, and non-binary pals, make sure to join that membership program. It lets us continue to do what we love while you continue to get some quality videos from yours truly. We love you all. Be safe, be happy, toodaloo.